What's going on YouTube? Klaus here, reporting for Plant-Based News. We've just seen a recent story come through on my feeds, and it's all very interesting. I saw it on CBS this morning, the mainstream media outlet CBS this morning. I'm going to play the clip in a minute and break it down for you, but it's basically about the plant-based milk market doing really, really well, and it's about how the dairy industry are responding, and they're trying to get the FDA and Congress in the US to step in and basically get the USDA and Congress and FDA, all those institutions, to basically force the plant-based milk sector to stop calling their products and beverages milk. So as you're watching this, just have a think yourself and maybe leave a comment if you want. Do you think plant-based milks should be called milk, or should milk just be for like dairy milk? Let me know. Let's play this clip.
Good morning. Well, we've all heard the expression, don't cry over spilt milk, right? But right now there are tears of frustration in the debate over who gets to put milk on their labels. On one side, you have the long dominant dairy farmers, and on the other, you have the new kids on the block.
I'm a new kid on the block, and I'm hoping this guy is a new kid on the block. He's got a good gun show. He's in good shape. I hope he's a new kid on the block.
Strong is good.
Rockets! Tennis star Venus Williams.
I do plans.
And hip-hop producer DJ Khaled appear in these new up-tempo ads for Silk almond and soy milk. They're part of an industry of plant-based products described as milk substitutes. They generated $1.4 billion this year and grew 54% over the last 5 years in the US.
I'm really, really happy that this mainstream media outlet has highlighted the fact that the dairy-free market is growing rapidly. It's been predicted recently to be worth $35 billion by the year 2024. So it's great to see CBS this morning highlighting this.
Real milk has 8 times more protein than almond milk.
Milk producers are facing decline, dropping 11% in sales over the last year. Now they're fighting back.
We have seen a drop-off in consumption of dairy products, and also we have seen a significant price drop.
Yes, that's right. The dairy industry aren't doing very well. Consumption levels are down, profits are down, and this is leading to a lot of corruption within this industry, especially in the US. In the US, the US dairy industry recently started price fixing. They recently killed 500,000 cows just to slightly push up the price of milk. This came out in September. It's absolutely crazy news. The dairy industry, they killed 500,000 cows just to slightly push up the price of milk. So this corruption is real, and it's being revealed, and it's being prosecuted. The US dairy industry fined $52 million in September of this year. The reason I'm saying this is because I want to highlight the fact that this industry is extremely corrupt. So just remember that when this woman is speaking. I'm not saying she's corrupt, but I'm saying she's coming from an industry that is extremely corrupt.
Patty Leonard's family has been farming in Northern Virginia for almost a century. She milks her cows twice daily and says non-dairy milk products are successful because they're misleading.
Did you hear that? So this woman, right, who works in the dairy industry, saying dairy-free, plant-based milks are misleading. That is absolutely bonkers. That's crazy. That is crazy. That's the opposite of the truth. What's misleading is the dairy industry, the whole happy cow, all that stuff. If you just Google, you look up how the cows are artificially inseminated, how they're treated. I don't want to get into words like rape and that, but it's cruel. You look at the environmental degradation as well. 1,000 litres of water are needed to produce just 1 litre of cow's milk. But do Greenpeace, do these environmental organisations say this? No, that's what I'd call misleading. Do the institutions like the USDA and other health groups talk about the way milk engenders a crazy IGF-1 response? The more you drink milk, the more your IGF-1 levels go up, and that's why milk consumption, dairy consumption is associated with so many cancers and osteoporosis, stuff like that. Do we get told that? No. That emanates from the dairy industry. The dairy industry siphon off large quantities of wealth. The meat and dairy industry gets subsidised $38 billion every year in the form of subsidies by the US government. That's what's misleading. There's no level playing field. That's the misleading factor here. So what I'm trying to say is, like, what this woman is saying does not correlate with reality one bit. It's the opposite of the truth.
They are using the good name and the good qualities and the standard of milk to share their product.
Oh, I'm the victim. She's like, the tone of the voice, it's very telling. It's very, very telling.
What makes it all the more important that we have a clear definition and a clear standard so that our consumers have a clear understanding of what they're purchasing and there's no confusion.
32 congressmen from dairy-producing states agree, penning this letter urging the FDA to enforce its existing definition of milk, which states it is obtained by the complete milking of one or more cows.
Just be honest, it's not about the definition. Because if it was about the definition, then the meat industry wouldn't call meat flesh, because flesh is the actual word that comes from fruit flesh, and that word has been stolen by the meat industry. But nobody cares. Nobody cares about these words. Why don't you just admit it? The reason you're doing this is because you're not happy, because your profits are plummeting while the dairy-free products are soaring and you feel threatened. Just be honest about it. It's okay. People would admire you a bit more. People would like you a bit more if you're just honest with people.
But how much confusion is there between cow milk and its substitutes?
I don't think they're the same as milk, and I think that confuses people.
I think it should continue to be called milk. It's used like milk.
Worldwide, this is the same terminology that has been used for years.
For Nancy Chapman of the Soy Foods Association, the hope is the FDA widens its definition.
When you drink soy milk, it is equal in terms of its ability to support growth and development, as is the dairy cow's milk.
She's got to be so conservative. This woman is a spokesperson for the soy milk board or industry or something. She's got to be so careful with her words. That's why she's talking very conservatively, because she realizes that the dairy industry just has a huge amount of legal resources, huge amounts of money. It's connected, it's embedded in our society, it's entrenched in our society, it's connected to finance, it's connected to the mainstream media. So she's aware of this, and that's why she's being very, very conservative with her message.
Chris Galen works for the Milk Producers Federation. Would you be all right with a looser definition?
I've never milked a soybean. I don't suppose if you crack one open you'd find much milk or any liquid there. All we want is for the government to do its job and to enforce the regulations on the books that says you don't got milk if it comes from a nut or a seed.
He sounds very like David Dobbin, the chief executive of the United Dairy Farmers, who, let's just get the notes out, very recently said it's a demographic time bomb. What he meant by that was that there are so many younger people now shunning dairy, and it's millennials that are really taking to the vegan lifestyle. I just wish this guy was a bit more honest, and he'd just say, look, the reason I'm saying this stuff is just because I feel a little bit threatened. But hey, that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Now, what's interesting is the FDA has historically kept out of the debate over who gets to use the term milk, but this time it says it will respond directly to the congressman who wrote to them. We also reached out to the almond industry for comment, and they tell us their product is fortified with vitamins and calcium, and that ultimately it's up to the consumer to decide. Anthony?
Errol Barnett, thanks, Errol. I looked up the dictionary definition: an opaque fluid secreted by female mammals.
That ain't an almond.
That ain't an almond.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, of course, yeah, mainstream media, they cover a story, they provide both perspectives, but they got to end on that note. As I said before, the animal agriculture industry is so entrenched and embedded in our society, they're connected to the mainstream media, so there are these sort of indirect ties between them, they mutually benefit from each other's profits. That's why they end on that note, like, oh yeah, the dictionary, the definition, yeah. Let me tell you this, let me just get a few people up who disagree with that. Associate Professor Dr. Martina Hina from Texas, plant-based foods mentor, in fact, she said, oh boo-hoo, the dairy industry with their huge money spent on torturing cows for greed and profit is lobbying the FDA to ban the use of the term milk when referring to plant-based milks, like soy milk, cashew milk, almond milk, coconut milk, etc. Just like the company threatened the best-selling vegan Just Mayo, who tried to wage a legal battle to not let a vegan company use the word mayo. Yeah, so this is happening more and more, isn't it? The meat and dairy industry are using their money and their legal resources to try and basically threaten and sabotage these vegan companies. My advice to the dairy industry here is to take a leaf out of Hellman's books. Hellman has tried to sue Just Mayo, Hampton Creek, in 2015. But in 2016, this year, they saw how well the vegan company Hampton Creek were doing. For example, Hampton Creek are now valued at over $1 billion, and they've recently had 43 of their vegan products stocked in the massive US supermarkets, Walmart and Target. Hellman saw this and they're like, whoa, we can't win against these people because, you know, they're doing really, really well. Profits in terms of like the ethics, the morals, the environmentally, like these guys are onto winning product here. And so what Hellman has done is they actually released vegan mayonnaise, a vegan product. And that's what the dairy industry have got to do here. They've got to just take a step back, breathe, and just be like, let's not be dickheads. Let's not be dicks about this. Let's accept that the plant-based milk industry is growing rapidly. They're the future. If we want to shift over, as the dairy industry, if we want to shift over to that market, then let's go for that. But let's not try and crack down in this vehement, just horrible way, because it's not fair. It's not fair on the animals, it's not fair on the environment, it's not fair on people's health, it's misleading. So yeah, that's what I think. What do you think though? Let me know down below. Let's get some more reaction. Dr. John McDougall, who I just interviewed very recently actually, so check out that interview if you haven't seen it. He goes into a little bit about the dairy industry and how they're misleading, stuff like that. So see the interview if you want. He said, desperate dairy industry gets Congress to tell the FDA that plant-based milks can't be called milk. So he stayed pretty unbiased. Robbie Lockey, part of the Plant-Based News team, built plantbasednews.org, says, I think milk is something we use in a specific way. So whether it comes from an animal, whether it comes from a plant, I don't really see the difference. So yeah, but you know, let me know what you think. All I can say is this market is trending, and this is predominantly, I think, due to the internet. In 2016, social media was named as one of the largest threats to the animal agriculture industry. This is according to Global Meat News, who said social media has been instrumental in spreading negative views about the dairy industry among millennials. So a shift is happening. Clearly, the stories that we've been told and sold by the meat and dairy industry have stopped making sense. Influential, trend-setting millennials are questioning the bedrock assumptions in our society about the role of milk and the role more generally about animal products, and this has led to a new movement, new and growing global movement, a movement of vegans. Unlike before, the institutions like the FDA and the USDA, they don't have as much power. The meat and dairy industry don't have as much power. This is mainly because of the internet, which is, if you think about it, opened up communication pathways that weren't available to previous generations. So because of the amazing resources online, there's a growing understanding of the plight of animals and the environmental effects of like drinking cow's milk. And yeah, the tides are turning, and let's just hope this trend continues. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'll see you soon. Peace out.